Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday, March 20, whatever this is, 24th, 23rd.
23rd. Slow it
23rd.
down.
See, Mike's already talking into us, telling us what it is. It's office hours on a Wednesday. We're going to be also live tomorrow. For those who are watching right now, I think there's one other person that clicked in, but we didn't advertise this. This is us getting a little extra content out there because we had to miss last week. We will be live at noon Eastern time tomorrow. You'll get an email about that if you're watching this afterwards, probably because you've got an email and you clicked on this and watched it live. But let me bring our experts, our trainers, our the people that know everything about PayProTec. When I want to know what's going on, this is the people I ask. On the far left from Colorado office, Jenny Rickle. How are you, Jenny?
Doing good today. How are you today, Nate?
I'm doing pretty well. Last week I skipped because I had the opportunity to take my son to go watch my Michigan Wolverines play in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Thankfully, they're still playing, so I get to watch them again tomorrow night from afar as they play down in San Antonio. But it's a good time. So, and Jenny, has spring sprung there in Glenwood Springs finally?
Yes, it is so nice and warm out, and I like to run, and so I'm really loving this warm weather where I can run outside without like my hat and gloves and scarf. So it is beautiful right now.
It is. That's the time of year. Mike, you're 2 hours north of me. I'm going to assume that's about the same weather. Is it rainy, damp, and about 50 up there? Is that about the same weather today?
That is exactly right. We have a roller coaster in March, Nate, as you know, in Indiana. We've seen 70s and high 60s several days in a row, and we'll see in the 30s tonight probably. I'm looking out the window from the windstorm last night. My neighbors had a tree fall on their shed. It hit a power line and ripped a ton of the back of their house off. So this is the part where March comes in like a lion sometimes.
Well, in the middle of March, we got 1 week left of March Madness. To fully get involved, you can jump in now. Any of your deals could be, you could opt in, you could start getting some extra bonuses. It's the extra money on the table. 2 weeks from today, or 3 weeks from today, excuse me, a group of us will be in Las Vegas, probably coming off of a party on that Monday night, though for the ETA conference. I saw my ETA Transact conference come in and my registration. Would love to see you there. But today, that's some of the information and announcements. We'll give a few more at the end. Today, we're going to talk POS Pros. POS Pros is something that's existed in the PayProTec world, not always under that name, since 2015. And Mike, you've actually been here the whole time with the POS Pros team from the beginning, inception, from Stacy Carrillo, who's still involved in POS in our family of businesses, but now works more on the integration side, to Robert Kramer, who's not with us now, but it was directly with Retail Cloud, one of our partners. Can you walk us through a little from your vantage point what you saw as we created this POS Pros team and really what the goal was in trying to help our partners?
This whole thing still makes me excited. At the time, in our office, we had 2.5 people that were doing partner support, whereas we have 6 or 7 now on a daily basis doing partner support. And so at the time, this was one of the things that we were tasked with in addition to supporting our partners. Here's a couple of POS systems that we use. Let's see if we can get partners to use them. We didn't know what we were talking about. At the time we felt like we did. We were doing the best we could, but take that switch, and Stacy and Bob and more people as they came along, like Matt Proctor, who's now the director of the POS Pros team, and all of a sudden, we started saying to our partners, "You can sell a POS system." Well, no, I can't. I remember one gentleman, probably in his 60s at the time, but you know what? He's a great sales guy, but he just wanted to go out and sell accounts, use terminals. He said, "Mike, I'm never going to sell a POS. It's okay." He came to our office and visited a few hours from his home. We had lunch. He's like, I just can't do it. So he told both me and the other Mike that, probably that next year, I think Tim sold 5 or 6 point of sale systems because of the team. And so that's the first thing that we wanted to impress our people with is you don't have to know all the ins and outs of Paradise or Hot Sauce or Retail Cloud. Let's know what they're about. Let's read through some of the materials that are on mypapertech.com, but then let's submit that lead to poslead.com and let the team be the educators from there and the salespeople from there.
It really has become a unique identifier in the PayProTec world, but we're now not the only ones doing it. We like to our knowledge, we were the first to do it this way. Now, many of our competitors, some of our partner sister organizations do it, and the team has grown from just a couple people here in Indianapolis to now I think there's 6 people that are serving POS Pros across the U.S. And even more that are going to be involved in helping do that. But Jenny, the process really is supposed to make it really simple for the partner to be able to connect with a group of people that are a little more knowledgeable of the whole point of sale process. Can you kind of describe how the process works today and what partners should expect when working with the POS Pros team?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best way to reach the team is to use our lead submission, which is www.poslead.com. This is going to bring you to a page with just a few simple questions. It just wants to know about your agent ID, a little bit about the merchant name if they're an active merchant with us, and then any additional details such as this is a restaurant, this is a salon, anything that the merchant is specifying towards. And then really right away, you'll receive a telephone call from our POS team saying, hey, I got your lead, let's talk. So do you want to go ahead and go to the merchant? Do you want to go ahead and talk to the agent directly? And they will really suit the needs. Sometimes if you just want them to talk to the merchant directly, they'll contact the merchant and do a demo. If they really want to talk to you and figure out the ins and outs and what that looks like, they'll go through the sales partner line directly. So they are a really great team that are very accommodating to make sure that they meet the business needs to set them up for success. So poslead.com is the best way to reach them. Set up the expectation as what's needed, and then the conversation can start from there.
I think one of the things that gets us is that some people think, oh, I can just go and, go to the merchant and I'm going to call the POS lead team, or I'm going to call a relationship manager and have them at that moment create a conversation. And that could be a struggle because obviously we can't live on demand like that when you're serving hundreds and thousands of partners on any given day. Mike, what are some of the things that you've seen that are some of the best practices to utilizing the team and making sure that it truly supports our partners and that they're not, just leaving there hanging, that if they use it this way, it's going to work for them?
I know exactly what you mean. There are partners that really want the questions answered now. And the difficulty with that is we've not been able to screen their needs. We've not been able to say, well, maybe Paradise is the right one for them. We've not been able to interview the merchant then and ask how many stations they might need and prepare a specific quote. So there are a lot of times where I suggest that there's a couple ways to step back from that. One of them is, Mr. Merchant, if you'd allow me to take your statement, I'm going to go back and get my team to analyze that. I'm going to go back and get this submitted to my POS Pros team, and then let me get back to you and present you with some equipment and pricing options. So if you don't have that statement yet, this allows you to back out. Even if you don't have the statement, let's be honest with them and say, you know what, this is not like going out and getting a regular credit card terminal like you're using now. If that's what we're doing, I'd set you up right now. We'd get you another plain terminal that doesn't have any of the features of what I'd like to show you. And you're not going to have the things covered that you want covered. So allow me 24 hours to get this lead submitted, talk with our team, and I'm going to come back to you with some options for dates and times for demos. And you're promising them pretty immediate action in that way.
I think
and that's what they're looking for, is immediate gratification as much as they can have it.
And one of the ways to help this out is that if the partner, because the partner has a choice, and we always say you can be as involved as you want to be. The POS Pros team is not going to steal your merchant. They're not going to go and just move them under them or under a house account. No, they're there to support you. They don't get the deal unless it's your deal. But at the same time, you can be actively involved and on the demos and on the conversations, or you can take a passive route. But if you take more of an active route, I think you're going to be more successful. And even that you're going to start learning a little more about POS. You don't have to learn to do the demos of Hot Sauce and Paradise and Retail Cloud and Mint, but you can start becoming conversational about it. Jenny, if one of our partners wants to learn more about point of sale, become more involved in that process, kind of learn through us, so what are some of the ways they can learn a little more about the point of sale systems that PayProTec has to offer?
I think the best resource is going to be on mypaprotec.com. We have an entire section that lists all the different point of sale systems that we offer. Nate called out a few: Paradise, Hot Sauce, Mint, things like that. And then you can actually select each different option and take a look at the brochures that are offered and specifically what they are geared towards. Because what's really nice about our team is that all of our systems are very specific for a business setup. So we have restaurant setups, we have salon setups, we have online setups, like Vend was a really big one a while ago. So go to mypaprotec.com, check out the different systems. And we also have a matrix there, which is really nice because it identifies the different features and what's available. Perhaps gift and loyalty cards, or perhaps employee tracking, sorry. But the different options are all there on mypaprotec.com. It's a great resource to just glance at and really get an idea of what options we have.
As we make those opportunities, some of those things that people hear the words out there: Clover, Toast, Square, are proprietary pieces of hardware that are not part of the PayProTec family. Let's specifically deal with Clover. So Square and Toast are totally, they're their own system. They're PayFacs / becoming their own processors and pieces of hardware. But Clover is obviously part of the Fiserv family. They've been involved in different places in different ways. When someone says, hey, a merchant really wants to have Clover, Mike, what are some of your first answers and questions that you have for partners when they ask that question?
One of the first questions I would ask normally, and it may be a little unfair, but why do they want Clover? Do they want Clover because their buddy that owns the store next door has Clover? Or do they really know what their favorite 3 things are about Clover that make it so important to them? If they know those 3 things, let's talk about it, because I can find them a point of sale. I shouldn't say our POS Pros team can find them a point of sale that will do those functions just as Clover does. And so, when somebody comes to you with Clover, that is my first response. The second response is to, let them know that, gosh, everybody is out selling Clover. You as a partner can differentiate yourself here and say, you know what? Clover's something that everybody sells. You see it everywhere. We have some really unique solutions that not everybody and their brother is going to have. As you said, Clover is a Fiserv, used to be called First Data. And so every bank that does credit card processing is going to have Clover available. And there's 20 some thousand agents out there having this available. So now we encourage our agent to say, let's be different. Allow me a half hour to do a demonstration, have our team do something for you, and show you, hey, you know what? Here's a system, and here's those 3 things you mentioned about Clover that you can get from this system. And it's going to be less expensive, most likely.
We have a lot of partners that are in the PayProTec family of businesses that sell Clover and PayProTec. And so they have both of those options. And those are certainly a possibility, but I do believe it sets you apart. Clover is kind of ubiquitous across and what the POS Pros team does is sets you apart and puts that decision opportunity in front of the merchant and for you to really choose a solution that's more custom fit. Clover has done a great job. They're a utility knife when it comes to point of sale, but we're really looking to set apart. Jenny, when our partners, POS is a lot of extra work sometimes, especially when you start getting into like high-end hospitality and multi-location, and there's a lot of things, retail, and you put in a POS into a retail store like a liquor store, and they have so many SKUs. There's a lot of extra work and steps. Is it worth the headache? Is selling POS and using the POS Pros team worth the headache for our partners?
There's not even a headache, Nate. Our team really, really helps take that piece of the equation out of the agent's hands, right? So we do the hard work. We take on that headache. We're experts here. And our POS team is so helpful and they're so resourceful. So absolutely, yes. Give us a call, check out the leads. There's a lot of great opportunities out there. And I think it's really an untouched market because people, like Mike had said, they shied away because people get a little intimidated by it. But that's what this team is for. We take away the headache and we handle that part for you. So try it out.
I love that answer. I mean, in 2014, when I was, I started in 2012 with PayProTec. In 2014, it was still the question when people came into this opportunities that they wanted to switch their technology, switch their point of sale system. People usually just walked away, or maybe they had like a referral partner that they dealt with that wanted to deal with that. And now I would say a huge majority of our partners are actively involved in really big tech. I mean, they're placing Paradise systems and hot sauce systems and things that are running the whole business. And that's a lot stickier. And those merchants, when they find a POS system that they love, and you mix POS system with an edge and cash discount and all the opportunities that come with that, man, these are sticky merchants. These are merchants that are really happy, and they are things that are going to keep growing your portfolio for years to come. Mike and Jenny, I'm going to bring all of us up here. Is there anything I've missed when talking about the POS Pros team that's important for our partners to know and how to use the POS Pros team?
Can I really quick piggyback on something you were just saying, Nate?
Yep.
The stickiness. So back when we started the team in 2015, we didn't have cash discount. We were a very service-oriented company, and that was our big deal. We differentiate ourselves that way. So we had pretty good retention for a credit card processing company. Our average length of stay for a customer was a little under 12 months. So put the POS team in, and you start watching that number creep up. And if you took those MIDs that had a POS on them, you watch that retention and that length of stay raise by 50%. So now, if you have a customer who comes to use a POS with us and they're not paying any credit card fees, what? Think about that. Why would they leave you? The theory is we're hiring really good people to serve our customers. So they like you, they like the POS, they like that they're not paying fees, and our systems and customer support and tech support have backed you up. There's really no reason that customer goes anywhere. So think about that, because a ton of you are out there selling cash discount right now. What if you added one more layer to that stickiness and go back to these people you've had for a year or two now and start talking to them about upgrading their technology? Because and this is one thing we didn't touch on, there are ways to earn discounts because our customers are using cash discount. For every $20,000, they earn a discount off the purchase of their hardware. So think about going back out and hitting these people up for some new technology.
And we mentioned that in our, when we talked about free placements and placement programs on a prior episode. So you can go look that up on the YouTube channel or in soon our RS feed. I'll make that announcement here in a little bit. But Jenny, let's highlight again, just remind people what the parameters are for our placement program when it comes to Edge and our POS systems.
Yes. So, and this is actually, like Mike said, it's like an added layer because right now with March Madness, that's all for our Edge deal. So if somebody's already doing Edge, so Edge is one of the requirements. They must be priced at a minimum of 3.5%. And then the volume, they must be doing at least $20,000 a month. And it's actually per $20,000. So if they make an additional $40,000 or $60,000, that is going to be per hardware station. So they will get a credit of $1,299 for every $20,000 of volume. We do request a processing statement just to go ahead and review what their monthly volume looks like. So 3.5% with Edge, minimum of $20,000 a month. Let us take a look and we can help get that credit of $1,299.
And that gets them into a place where they're going to have limited amounts of upfront fees they need to pay to get into these software and hardware systems. Because the most expensive piece on the upfront side is the hardware. And it's just like buying a computer or buying a cell phone. There's a fixed cost to that, and we can either spread it out or different places. And what we're trying to do is say, hey, look, when we get into more profitable situations, we're going to take some of our profit, PayProTec, not our partners. PayProTec's going to take some of our partners and invest in those merchants and give them the technology that they want and give them a discount on some of that. It's a great opportunity. Any other things on the POS Pros team working in the POS Pros world that we should be highlighting as we close up here our I think 4th episode of Office Hours?
I promise to keep this short, 15 seconds. As Jenny mentioned, go to mypayprotec.com. There's an entire POS section. Click each brand of point of sale and read at least the overview sheet about it. Don't worry about committing it to memory. Just know that there's things there for many different verticals. So take some time to get in there and read. Some of them have videos about them. And then there's a training video that talks about submitting a lead at POS.com and what our POS Pros team does for us.
Just putting a few of those things up there on the screen, but certainly make sure you go to myPayProTec.com. That's also where you can go and subscribe. We'll soon have the page live for the office hours, this new show that we're doing with Mike and Jenny. We're putting out content where you can ask questions. And tomorrow, if you're watching this on Wednesday, the 23rd, on Thursday, the 24th, you can watch live at noon Eastern time as we do a show specifically just on how to, get rid of that attrition, because retention is one of the greatest ways that you can grow your portfolio, because as businesses grow and their volumes grow, your profit grows. And so we're going to talk about some of the things that you can do to make sure that you're getting the maximum retention when it comes to your portfolio. Mike, Jenny, thank you so much for joining us and being part of the office hours. We will see you guys tomorrow, noon, if you're watching. If you're not watching, if you're on demand, hey, thank you so much for watching, listening. You can put it in the comments. You can email partners@PayProTec.com and put office hours, and we'll get those questions. And we're here anytime. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.
Thanks, Nate.
Thank you.
See
Bye.
y'all.